Well, there is a new push to keep more than 1,000 Connecticut kids who are in crisis out of emergency rooms.
Yeah, Fox 6 News' Keith McGilvery sat down with one family who was desperate for help in our special report called Kids in Crisis. They found it at a place where the Department of Children and Families says everyone is welcome.
The Paradis family knows what it's like to have a kid in crisis. They wanted to share their story with the hope of helping other families. We'll do so without identifying their little girl. There's a lot parents Michelle and Lisa Paradis love about their daughter.
She's absolutely so funny. I mean, some of the things that she'll say, I'm like, where did that come from?
If there's something that she feels strongly that she wants to do, she's going to find a way to do it.
But at times, that can be a big problem. The little girl with intellectual challenges struggles to process information and regulate her emotions. A canceled play date to go sledding or a bike ride that gets called off because of rain can be disastrous for the 10-year-old.
A typical kid might think, oh, that makes sense. But for her, it's like, no, make it stop raining. It's time for me to ride my bike.
She can become very angry, and it can get very physical. And then it becomes an unsafe environment, not only for her, but for the other children in the home.
A dangerous and desperate situation brought the West Hartford family to the ER in September. What is it like to bring a child you love into an emergency room?
It is scary, and her needs were not met immediately. There was a lot of sitting and waiting, unknown. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what the next step was.
Describe the hopelessness there. Describe, like, in your gut as a mom, what that feels like to stand in an overcrowded emergency room with.
You just want to cry because you know that this is not the best place for my child.
You came out to the car.
I came out crying.
We had to leave her there.
We had to leave her there overnight.
The emergency department here at Connecticut Children's is often packed with kids in crisis. It says of the more than 3,200 children it saw over a 12-month period ending in September, more than 1,000 of them could have benefited from behavioral health care. Department of Children and Families Commissioner Jody Hill-Lilly says families are often faced with violent, disruptive behavior, and they don't know what to do.
Let me tell you, the emergency rooms are really suffering right now, and they're overcrowded, and we have this resource, so we have to get the word out, and anybody can refer here.
Hill-Lilly is talking about the Urgent Crisis Center, or UCC, at the Village in Hartford.
This is a gem. This is a gem of a service.
It's one of multiple UCCs across Connecticut, professionally staffed to help kids and teens with an urgent mental or behavioral health crisis, including out-of-control behavior, thoughts of suicide or self-injury, feelings of depression, anxiety, or hopelessness, or substance misuse.
We see kids that are disruptive, they are breaking furniture, they're fighting, they're all those kinds of things. They're not doing well in school, they're having trouble concentrating in school, and it's behavior that's out of the parents' control.
Right now, the UCCs see more than 50 families a day. DCF says the state has the capacity to more than double that and is trying to redirect families like the Paradises from the ER.
If our daughter needs to come here, then the other parent can still at home play the game or do a puzzle or do other things with the other kids, because now, you know, what's happening has been removed from the home and it's here, which is a safe haven for our family.
The UCCs are currently funded with about $8 million from grants and Medicaid. The commissioner says the governor's proposed budget has another $7 million to see the effort grow. So far, the village says it's helped 400 families avoid the emergency department.
I measure success by avoiding, first of all, the emergency room, really being able to de-escalate the child's behavior and empower parents to be able to interact with their children and help them in the time when they need it.
So we've left here with referrals that we didn't get anywhere else. We were able to get into other programs, we were able to get into other therapies that we wouldn't have known about if that hadn't been referred from the UCC.
It's been life-changing for the Paradis family.
She leaves here happy. She leaves here feeling confident and good about herself. You're not going to get that in an ER.
And they want others to know help is just a car ride away.
Pack them in the car and get them down here. like Michelle said, this is our safe haven, and our child knows this.
A child who has not had to return to the ER.
What are your hopes for her as a parent, for your daughter?
I think any parent just wants their child to be happy. And really, that's our goal, is we want her to feel good about herself. We want her to be happy. We want her to do the best that she's able to.
Good news to share. The little girl in this story has not had to return to the emergency department in about 6 months. DCF says about 97% of people who visit one of their UCCs are able to go home and do well after they leave. In Hartford, I'm Keith McGilvery, Fox 61. And folks, I have some really great news to share this morning. The little girl in this story has not had to go to the emergency department for nearly 6 months. DCF says 97% of the families who visit one of the urgent crisis centers are able to go home and do well after they leave. So some good news there. I am joined this morning as the conversation continues by Amy Samela. She's with the Urgent Crisis Center at the Village that we just visited and helped the Paradis family get to where they are today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Off the bat, I may just ask, to see this 10-year-old thriving, you do this work every day. What does that say to you in your heart?
Oh, it says so much. Just being around that particular family and the staff who have been able to help her is a tremendous, tremendous gift for us to be able to see all of the work that we've done has helped this family.
This story is already resonating with families. I heard from one family on LinkedIn, others on social media. One had a 2-year-old who is already struggling, another a daughter who started middle school, and it did not go well with the stress, anxiety, and depression, which leads me to my next question. We talk about crisis. That means something different to every family. How do you categorize a crisis?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because the word crisis is really subjective for families. So of course we will work with all families. The Urgent Crisis Center is open to whether you have a physical crisis, you're dysregulated emotionally, like Dr. Taylor talked about, the levels of depression, suicidality, anxiety. But crisis is super subjective. So I like to tell families that if you're concerned, we all as families, as caregivers and parents, we know when something seems off for our child. So if something seems off for your child and they're starting to bubble over, still come to the Urgent Crisis Center because we'd like to help you proactively before that sort of big crisis happens.
This morning we have promised families who are watching that we would give them real tools for success here. So for somebody who's never been to a UCC, they pull up in the car, they walk through the door. What does that look like? Take me through that step by step.
So we designed the Urgent Crisis Center to be sort of the opposite experience of what you would get in the emergency room. So we really wanted it to be comforting, engaging, safe, and a private space. So when you walk in, remember there's no referrals, you just walk right in, no appointment needed. You're greeted by friendly faces. And we really want to make sure that you're in the right place. So our interdisciplinary team ensures that you're safe, and we immediately move you to a private space so that your individual needs are taken care of. It's also important for families to know that this new level of care, it's comprehensive. So the level of treatment and interventions is going to take about 3.5 hours, but you're going to be met by so many different staff throughout the time so that you feel well informed.
And talk about that comprehensive care. What does the toolbox look like at UCC? I suspect one family might need something, another family might need something different. What are the types of services they're getting?
So all the families are getting and all the youth are getting an interdisciplinary comprehensive assessment. So we want to make sure, number one, that there's nothing medically wrong with you. So we do a comprehensive nursing assessment, and then you're seen by a multiple group of interdisciplinary teams, so clinicians, psychiatric providers, and support staff. But what also makes us really, really unique is the discharge planning. So we want to make sure, because like you said, all families are different, all kids need different things. We really send you home with a comprehensive wraparound approach for that next level of care. And we also call you frequently to make sure that you've continued with those services. Again, that's that warm handoff piece that we know families who are struggling really, really value and need.
One of the points that the Paradis family made so beautifully that I think we should reiterate before we go is that you can literally just show up.
That's right. That's right. So there's no appointment needed. So we open at 7 in the morning, and we had a family here at 7:15. So literally you walk in and we will take care of you immediately. Absolutely.
Grateful for the work that you're doing as part of this work and our special report. So thank you for that. And a reminder for folks at home, all of this information, because it can be a lot to digest, is on our website, fox61.com. Together we can make an impact in the lives of all kinds of kids. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.